You wake up at 6:52 a.m., 5 minutes before your alarm. Your body already knows. It's repeated this ritual for 3,900 mornings, more than a decade inside the same routine. You call it responsibility, a steady paycheck, benefits, safety. But as you stare at the ceiling, a quiet tension sits in your chest. You earn more than you ever imagined growing up, yet your bank balance never seems to breathe. Bills arrive faster than relief. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain why this isn't bad luck or poor discipline. The system rewards consistency while quietly punishing curiosity, risk, and time, keeping you busy enough to never question the pattern itself fully. It's intentional, it's structural, it's the salary trap. The illusion of being ahead. On paper, everything looks right. The income is respectable, the job title sounds impressive. Compared to the average worker, you're doing well. Statistically, you're ahead. Emotionally, you feel nothing close to secure. Your paycheck arrives on schedule, predictable and clean, yet relief lasts only a moment. Before you can decide how to use it, most of it has already been claimed. Taxes reduce it instantly. Rent waits patiently. Food, transport, utilities, subscriptions, insurance, each takes its turn. By the time you pause to think, what remains feels too small to matter. The strange part is that it doesn't feel like loss. You still have comfort, you still function, and that's exactly why the system works. This is not accidental. The system does not hand you your income and ask you to allocate it consciously. It removes choice before awareness forms. Money moves through invisible channels, quietly redirected to obligations that feel normal, reasonable, even responsible. Because each expense is justified, the total never feels alarming. You don't experience poverty, you experience maintenance. The result is subtle stagnation. You aren't falling behind dramatically, but you are never pulling ahead either. What you have is motion without momentum, a lifestyle that looks successful but produces no leverage. This fragmentation is the first mechanism of the salary trap. When money arrives whole and leaves in fragments, your brain never registers danger. Each deduction feels small. Combined, they erase progress. You stay busy managing expenses instead of questioning the structure that created them. Comfort becomes camouflage. As long as basic needs are met, deeper dissatisfaction is delayed. The system doesn't need you desperate, it only needs you comfortable enough to stay. How dependency is manufactured. From an early age, the path is outlined clearly. Learn skills, get credentials, invest in education. Often that investment comes with debt. Once you carry that obligation, your options narrow. You need income, not flexibility. When you finally secure a job, the salary feels like validation. It feels like safety. But the moment you accept it, a quiet shift occurs. Your lifestyle begins to rise to meet your income. Not dramatically at first, slightly better housing, slightly better transport, small upgrades that feel earned. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. Psychologically, it feels like progress. In reality, it's alignment. Your cost of living synchronizes with your earning power. Each increase removes room to maneuver. Each improvement reduces your ability to step away. Over time, your financial life becomes dependent on continuation. You don't stay because you love the job. You stay because leaving would collapse the structure you've built around it. This is where dependency solidifies. The job stops being optional. It becomes necessary. Even dissatisfaction becomes tolerable when the alternative feels impossible. You aren't trapped by force, you're trapped by design and habit. The system doesn't coerce you, it presents upgrades, and psychology does the rest. We associate growth with consumption. We measure success by visible improvement, not by hidden flexibility. So we climb higher into lifestyles that require constant income to sustain. The golden handcuffs effect. Eventually, income reaches a level that once felt unimaginable. From the outside, it looks like freedom. From the inside, it feels fragile, because now there's more to lose. Higher rent, larger payments, long-term commitments, children, schools, expectations. Walking away becomes unthinkable, not because the job is irreplaceable, but because the obligations are. This is the golden handcuffs effect. The more you earn, the harder it becomes to stop earning. At this stage, the illusion is complete. Salary is mistaken for wealth, but income is temporary. It stops the moment you stop working. Wealth is durable. It exists without your presence. The difference between the two is the gap between what you earn and what you require to survive. The system works tirelessly to shrink that gap. When expenses rise alongside income, freedom never arrives. Stress remains constant, regardless of how much you make. This is why people at vastly different income levels report similar anxiety. The number changes, the pressure does not. The problem isn't insufficient earnings, it's insufficient margin. Without margin, you lose leverage. Without leverage, you lose choice. And without choice, security becomes an illusion. Predictability as a feature. When your income is fully allocated before it arrives, your behavior becomes predictable. You avoid risk. You avoid disruption. You hesitate to challenge authority or pursue uncertain opportunities, not because you lack ambition, but because your financial structure doesn't allow instability. Every dollar already belongs to someone else. Housing providers, banks, lenders, service companies, they benefit from your reliable cash flow. You carry the risk. The system favors predictability. Predictable workers are manageable. They show up, they comply, they stay. This is why living paycheck to paycheck, even at a high income, is not accidental. It keeps you focused on short-term survival rather than long-term independence. You don't ask how to exit the system, you ask how to perform better within it. That question alone keeps the cycle intact. Ask yourself a simple question. If income stopped tomorrow, how long would your life continue unchanged? Weeks? Months? If the answer is short, then stability is an illusion. True security is time. Time without income pressure. Time to decide instead of react. Most people never build this buffer because the system never encourages it. Seeing the pattern changes everything. The salary trap persists because it feels normal. Work, earn, spend, repeat. The pattern is reinforced culturally, socially, and institutionally. Questioning it feels uncomfortable. Yet the moment you recognize that the trap is structural, not personal, perspective shifts. You stop blaming discipline. You stop chasing raises as solutions. You start examining flow. The critical realization is this: income alone does not create freedom. Only retained income does. Only surplus creates options. Once you understand that, behavior begins to change. You stop measuring progress by what you can afford and start measuring it by what you can refuse. Awareness is not rebellion, it is clarity, and clarity is the first step toward dismantling a system that survives on unexamined participation. First, stop confusing income with wealth. A high salary is motion. Savings and assets are position. One depends on tomorrow, the other survives without it. Second, protect the gap. Deliberately keep your spending below what you earn, even when you could afford more. This feels uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is the signal that freedom is forming. Third, take that gap and point it toward assets that work while you rest, not obligations that demand your attention. And above all, build optionality. The moment you hold 3 to 6 months of living expenses in reserve, something shifts internally. Fear loosens its grip. Conversations change. You negotiate differently. You stop accepting situations simply because you need the paycheck. You gain the ability to pause, to walk away, to choose. The objective was never just to make more money. The objective is to reduce dependence on a system that requires your constant participation, because the day you don't need the next paycheck is the day control returns to you. The salary trap is real. It's subtle, intelligent, and deeply normalized, but it is not permanent. The people who escape aren't extraordinary. They didn't discover secret loopholes or get lucky breaks. They saw the structure clearly and refused to confuse comfort with freedom.
That awareness changed how they earned, spent, and saved, and that same decision is available to you. If this breakdown helped you see your financial life differently and you want to learn the real mechanics behind building lasting wealth, subscribe to the channel. We explore the psychology of money, the systems that shape behavior, and practical ways to step outside them. New videos every week, each designed to move you closer to independence, clarity, and control. Thanks for watching.